Since leaving The Biggest Loser, Jillian Michaels has been married twice and launched more TV shows than we can count. Whether she's broadcasting her family's private lives, defending controversial politicians, or poking fun at pop stars, Michaels has proven that she's not afraid to step on some toes. Michaels stepped away from The Biggest Loser in 2014 after the show's 15th season, but that wasn't the first headline she'd made in that show's era. Earlier in the season, Michaels got wrapped up in controversy when it came out that she'd been giving caffeine pills to contestants on her team. One of those contestants was American Idol winner Ruben Studdard, although he was eliminated fairly early into the season. But when producers stepped in to scold Michaels for passing out the pills, Studdard came back. For her part, Michaels insisted the whole controversy only came about as an excuse to get Studdard back on the show. She also maintained that she did nothing wrong, telling E! News, a caffeine supplement is significantly healthier than unlimited amounts of coffee. Whether or not this controversy was a conspiracy, Studdard didn't make it to the finale. When Rachel Fredrickson was declared that season's victor, Michaels was visibly in disbelief and told People that she disagreed with the way production had approached the competition. She said, "Moving forward, I need to be able to have an impact on the outcome of what I do." She also didn't like that the show leaned into the shouty bits of her on-screen persona. As she explained, "Millions of people have this warped negative perception of me." After leaving The Biggest Loser, Michaels quickly pivoted to hosting another fitness-based competition show, Sweat Inc. And to her credit, it wasn't just a complete rip-off of The Biggest Loser. Appearing on the Sirius XM radio show Sway in the Morning, Michaels explained that the show was actually more about entrepreneurship than fitness. While contestants on The Biggest Loser usually started out with little to no exercise experience, the people that went on Sweat Inc. were actually trainers themselves, competing to prove that their exercise regimens and products were the best.
It's about an American with a dream.
Yeah.
And what are you willing to sacrifice? How far are you willing to go? What does it take to be successful?
Some of the trends and products that inspired the show were things like shake weights, Thigh Masters, and Jane Fonda workout tapes. In short, the show was looking for any successful fitness business, even if it didn't actually help their customer base.
Do they work? No. But they're huge. They're gazillion-dollar businesses.
Michaels stuck with Sweat Inc. until the season 1 finale, where a kickboxing-based workout business called Focus Master won out. But that company failed to give Orange Theory a run for its money, and the show was never renewed for another season. Back when she was still on The Biggest Loser, Michaels came out as a lesbian. One of the perks of leaving the show was that she had more time to spend with her family, which at the time was made up of her partner Heidi Rhodes and their 2 children. In 2016, Michaels decided it was time to launch a television show that wasn't focused around fitness. Instead, Just Jillian followed her family life, depicting her and Rhodes as normal people going about their day-to-day lives. Speaking with E! News, Michaels explained one important piece of the show was that it gave gay couples more mainstream representation. She observed, "I think what's interesting about our family is that we're just like any other family. We have the same issues, we deal with the same stuff, we have a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm a lot of fun." But Rhodes wasn't as thrilled about turning her life into other people's entertainment. The show only lasted 1 season, and Rhodes and Michaels went their separate ways not long after. It turns out more domestic reality TV wasn't the only new outlet Michaels tried that year. 2016 also saw her release a new book, Yeah Baby, The Modern Mama's Guide to Mastering Pregnancy, Having a Healthy Baby, and Bouncing Back Better Than Ever. Now, she had released several cookbooks and workout guides while she was still on The Biggest Loser, several of which also had absurdly long titles, but Yeah Baby was different. Part memoir, part self-help book, it detailed her personal experience with pregnancy and provided other women with advice on how to get through their own.
I was truthfully stunned on a daily basis at how dated the information was, or quite frankly, how corrupted it was.
Shocked by how much misinformation was already out there for expecting mothers, she took it upon herself to give pregnant women advice on how to stay healthy and fit during and after pregnancy. As she told Baby Chick, "Studies show us that exercise will facilitate an easier labor on mommy and baby because the baby is actually used to what we perceive as a state of stress during exercise. And so, theoretically, we're told that it's easier." Michaels also told her readers to remember to be kind to themselves. She said, "The hard part of learning to find that balance is realizing it's not going to be perfect. You can't make everything perfect, but it will be enough." We doubt anyone watching this will be surprised to learn that Michaels has ticked off her fair share of other celebrities. In 2019, she said something so controversial it sparked 2 feuds at once. Funny enough, the comment she made wasn't even about a specific person, it was actually about the popular keto diet. Speaking with Women's Health, she described it as a bad plan for a million reasons. She said that when you eat keto, a low-carb diet that heavily relies on fat, you actually starve your body since the whole point is to deprive it of key nutrients. Well, that didn't sit well with Today star Al Roker, who has been candid about his own weight loss journey. He took to X to call her out, writing, "This from a woman who promoted on-camera bullying, deprivation, manipulation, and more weekly in the name of weight loss. Now those sound like bad ideas." Michaels told People that she was surprised by Roker's reaction, noting that she'd appeared on Today many times and actually had some pleasant interactions with him. She said, "I know that he does keto and I get it, but you would think that I told him that there was no God. It was really intense." The other celebrity Michaels' keto comment bothered was Bravo host Andy Cohen, but their feud goes a bit deeper than that one complaint. Back in 2013, Michaels actually appeared on Cohen's talk show Watch What Happens Live. From the outside, it seems like a normal interview, but Cohen remembers it differently.
She was so mean to my staff, she was yelling at them like they were on The Biggest Loser.
A few years later, they butted heads again when Michaels insulted Cohen's signature franchise, Real Housewives, while speaking to Life and Style. Before calling him a mean name, she outright accused him of hating women. Cohen denied this to The Hollywood Reporter and clapped back at Michaels by saying, "I love women. By the way, this is the woman who screamed at people for a living on The Biggest Loser. She should stay in her own lane." And that brings us to the keto kerfuffle. When Michaels and Roker went at each other, Cohen named Michaels the jackhole of the day on Watch What Happens Live. He joked, "Don't feel bad, keto diet. A lot of people think Jillian Michaels is a bad idea." Michaels' growing list of nemeses didn't end there. In 2020, she also made an enemy of the pop star Lizzo. Over the past few years, Michaels has become very publicly right-wing, and she didn't hesitate to criticize award-winning musician Lizzo for giving acceptance speeches that celebrated body positivity in the face of fat shaming. In an interview on AMDM, Michaels said, "Why are we celebrating her body? Why does it matter? That's what I'm saying. Like, why aren't we celebrating her music? 'Cause it isn't gonna be awesome if she gets diabetes." Critics quickly called Michaels out for fat shaming, but she doubled down while speaking with Inside Edition.
I meant it, meant every word.
Even a year later, Michaels continued defending her take, though she did admit that she regretted bringing Lizzo into the conversation.
I should have said, let's separate an individual from a conversation about health. And that is where I genuinely went wrong.
For her part, Lizzo seemed to respond to the comments on Instagram. Alongside a serene video posted to her social media, she wrote, "This is my life. I have done nothing wrong. I forgive myself for thinking I was wrong in the first place. I deserve to be happy." It was around the time of her conflict with Lizzo that Michaels also started to speak out about some misgivings she had regarding the time she'd spent on The Biggest Loser. In an interview with Today, she said that she didn't like the way the show cut competitors if they hadn't lost enough weight each week. She observed, "The producers gamified weight loss. It was weight loss on a ticking clock." Michaels also acknowledged that there should have been a mental health component to the show, saying, "When you have someone that weighs 400 pounds, that's not just an individual who likes pizza. There's a whole lot going on there emotionally." That said, she doesn't seem to have any regrets about the extremely harsh way she treated the show's contestants. Ignoring the fact that overweight people are often painfully aware of what others think of them, she explained, "You need them to feel the pain of the way they've been living." Her professional career may have taken a turn for the provocative, but Michaels still found a way to seemingly thrive in her personal life. In 2022, she revealed to People that she and Deshauna Marie Menudo had eloped in a Miami courthouse before jetting off to Africa for a ceremony. She called the experience, quote, "one of the most magical and transformative chapters of her life." Michaels had gushed about Menudo to the press for quite a while before breaking the big news. The year before their wedding, she celebrated her then-fiancé for sticking by her through tough times. Michaels said, "It's easy to stay together when everything is going great, but when real life sets in and things get messy, challenging, scary, and even downright ugly, that's when the truth reveals itself, and this woman has revealed herself to be strong beyond measure." Jillian Michaels has been pretty open about her political beliefs in recent years, and she's particularly fond of a few politicians. She very publicly voted for Donald Trump in 2024 and praised him for appointing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. But she's done more than just vote to stay active in the political sphere. As of late, she's been chronicling her right-wing beliefs on the YouTube talk show Her Take, a panel show that seems to be a conservative alternative to The View. And if that idea wasn't controversial enough, in the very first episode, she read a statement about her vision for the show, written by ChatGPT.
You've got real conversations that happen here. Different voices collide.
clash and sometimes even connect. There are no scripts, except for this one.
For several months now, Michaels has used the show to discuss controversial topics with controversial guests, and only time will tell if her more recent media debacles will hurt or help the series' popularity. Speaking of her other heated appearances in the media, her take isn't the only outlet Michaels has used to say some very provocative things recently. In August 2025, she appeared on CNN and openly defended Donald Trump's directive that the Smithsonian review its exhibits to strip out anything that could be considered too woke.
You cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race.
Even as her fellow panelists pushed back on her observation, Michaels doubled down and repeatedly expressed her frustration with her belief that much of the conversation around slavery and racial division in America sends the message of, quote, white people bad. Unsurprisingly, the panel was flabbergasted that Michaels would go on national television to make such bold and regressive claims, but not long after she denied those accusations on her take. And to prove just how much she wasn't defending white people's behavior during slavery, she proceeded to defend white people's behavior during slavery.
Yes, we did horrible things. White people did horrible things. We're not the only people to do horrible things.
August 2025 just wasn't Michaels' month. In addition to the CNN firestorm, she also dealt with quite a bit of public backlash thanks to the new Netflix docuseries Fit for TV: The Reality of the Biggest Loser. The show dove deep into The Biggest Loser's production and featured testimonies from contestants, producers, and Michaels' former on-screen training partner Bob Harper. Many contestants alleged that the show was unhealthy and abusive, taking issue with the way they were berated on national television and mocked for their bodies. Michaels did not participate in the documentary, but she was one of its biggest headlines. Now, we've already touched on Michaels' controversial approach to dealing with contestants, but her behavior on the show wasn't people's only complaint. In one episode, Harper spoke at length about the heart attack he suffered in 2017. He revealed that many of his friends from his time on Biggest Loser had reached out to wish him well, but there was one notable absence: his old pal Jillian. Speaking with People, Harper reflected that the fact that someone he worked so closely with for so long wouldn't reach out said a lot about their relationship. But in hindsight, he wasn't too surprised. As he reflected, "I would not expect Jillian Michaels to do anything other than what she wants to do." For better or worse, we're very curious to see exactly what the next thing she wants to do is, and we're confident she'll find a way to alienate even more people whenever she makes her next move.